Oh man, say it ain't so. Canelo Alvarez, his short list of opponents for 2021 has been released, and it has names like Avni Yildrim. And hey, no guys, hey Max, his punch is nothing, it's tick tick tick. No Jermall Charlo and no David Benavidez. Wow. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. Say it ain't so, man. So there's a boxing reporter, and he spoke with Eddie Reynoso, and this what was decided. You guys will see it on the screen. Should Canelo come away successful versus Avni Yildrim, it'll put him back on track to fight on his traditional dates of Cinco de Mayo and Mexican Independence Day. Eddie Reynoso said the three foes at 168 who will be considered for the dates are, and you guys see, it says Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and Gennady Golovkin. No mention of David Benavidez, who just had the WBC belt and through a miscalculation lost his belt on the scale. Wow. No mention of going back down to 160, even though Canelo said he could do it and would do it for Errol Spence. I guess Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo, even though they have championships there, he's not willing to do that. And underneath it, you guys see, it says Canelo will next fight for the 168 mandatory in Mexico against Avni Yildrim. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Canelo, you know, at this point, he looks like he's just trying to rob the bank and, you know, take the fights that require the least amount of maintenance and preparation. Canelo is a phenomenal fighter, but I think the whole world could see the play at this point, right? You'll fight Errol Spence at 160, who's been calling you out, and you'll entertain that at 160. But no one told you to leave 160, and you did it anyway. And you moved up to fight 175, fight Sergey Kovalev, and it wasn't even a good event, you know? The fight, to me, looked FAF. It wasn't any kind of sustained crazy action or anything like that. Kovalev he just didn't look like the regular Kovalev, non-committal. He was almost scared to throw. Didn't look like he was putting any power behind the jab, nothing. You know, and then out of nowhere, he gets knocked out, you know, whatever. And then now Canelo, his team is saying that he can't really make 160. But then even at 168, there are some great names. Dimitri Bivol has long called out Canelo. He's a champion at 175, right? And he says he can even make 168. This is not my opinion. This is what he said, right? Dimitri Bivol willing to make 168 for Canelo. And this should show up, you know, a simple boom, DAZN. So the network Canelo last fought, they got an article. You guys see it. April 15th. Dimitri Bivol wants to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168 or 175. Now, as you guys see from this picture, he's a champion at this weight, 175. Canelo fought at 175, but it was against Kovalev, not against Bivol or Beterbiev, you know, who people believe are fresher at this point in their career. Now, if you don't want to go back to 75 for whatever reason, you just want to go there for Kovalev, who looked like faded, you know, and he looked like he almost got stopped by Anthony Yarde, who was inexperienced in the grand scheme of things, right? That's one thing. But he said he'll come down to you. The other thing is with Avni Yildrim. I've seen a lot of people, and they're desperately trying to make this right for Canelo. So they're saying that's his mandatory. He has to fight him. But I thought the WBC said that Canelo was the franchise champion at 160, And then when Canelo Alvarez said he wanted to fight Avni Yildrim, they voted in favor of Canelo fighting Avni Yildrim 36-1 and said in August that Canelo can fight Avni Yildrim. But then Canelo did his own move, went rogue, and sued Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, and got out of his contract, and then went back to the people he just sued, DAZN, and fought someone totally different, which was Callum Smith. Now they're saying he has a mandatory, but they said he had first dibs based on his franchise status at 160. They said the reason they voted 36-1 in favor of Canelo, as opposed to putting Callum Smith, who was the WBC Diamond Champion from the World Boxing Super Series, or a highly ranked David Benavidez in there with Avni Yildrim. They said the reason they were giving Canelo the opportunity was because Canelo Alvarez was the franchise champion. So how does he have a mandatory if the franchise champion doesn't have mandatories? Now, as you can see, the WBC is crossed up in a bunch of nonsense. So an African-American fighter from Houston, Jermall Charlo, has called out Canelo Alvarez at 160. He wanted to fight and was willing to fight Canelo, but out of nowhere, the WBC, they announced and had a press release that Canelo no longer had any type of mandatory obligations because he was the WBC middleweight franchise champion. And they introduced this whole new, basically witness protection belt to get Canelo Alvarez out of danger to the point where he didn't have to fight Big Charlo, right? So people were questioning like, hey, what's this about? Jermall Charlo's looking like a beast. The world knows it. You see Derevchenko's face right there. He's a great fighter. Can he beat Canelo? There's only one way to find out. We would have to see it. But he's an undefeated fighter, unlike Avni Yildrim, who is coming directly off of a loss, right? And they had this get out of jail free card. You see how dangerous Charlo looks. They say a picture says 1,000 words, right? They had this get out of jail free card for Canelo, made him the franchise champion. Meanwhile, Charlo went on with his career and took on a dangerous guy who really beat Gennady Golovkin, and this is what Charlo did to him. So the world knows that would be a bigger fight than both Avni Yildrim and also a fight with Billy Joe Saunders. And now they're saying Golovkin 3 is a potential name that he could fight too. I mean, this just looks like typical Canelo. As I said in the previous video, the other thing that looks bad for Canelo is this mere fact is you separated from Golden Boy Promotions and the moves look identical. The type of opponents, Eastern European opponents, Kazakhstan, guys from Kazakhstan, a bunch of guys from England, European opponents, Caucasian opponents. Like, you're still going after the same stylistic people and a lot of people from similar regions. But Canelo has more, he's from Mexico, but he has more of an American style. And when will he fight someone who's as rhythmic and athletic and defensive minded as he, like Caleb Plant, or at least somebody who's really good in that department, or fight a guy who's can get aggressive and land, explosive, eye-catching shots like David Benavidez, like Big Charlo. These are the questions people want to know. So the short list looks horrible for Canelo, and I think we'll continue to see Canelo's star power dwindle down because it's like they want him to be a manufactured Mexican Mayweather. And Floyd never did this, but what Floyd's doing right now, he's doing entertainment fights. He's 44 years old or whatever age he is, and now he's collecting that bag. He's already dedicated his whole life to it. But Canelo's trying to do that, like go on an exhibition tour midway in his career, when he should be fighting the likes of Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, the Bivols of the world, Better Biev, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. Who wants to see Gennady Golovkin after we've already watched 24 rounds of that bull-ish. You know, we've already seen that fight. Meanwhile, you got a muscular Charlo in shape, been calling Canelo out. You got David Benavidez, and some fans are giving him a hard time. I want to show you what he's posting. He says, I've been doing this. And he posted this. He says, you know, I'm a little seasoned. I've been putting in work for years. I've been working at the top level since I was a teenager. And he posted a collection of photos of people he's worked with. Gennady Golovkin, most likely in his prime, he was sparring with him. And I interviewed David Benavidez, and he told me about this. I think we're in Vegas for the Edeslandi Lara fight and Swift Jared Hurd, right? You see a youthful David Benavidez when he still had kind of the extra weight on, with a legendary dude from Youngstown, Ohio, Kelly Pavlik. You see David Benavidez working with Jose Uzcategui, who beat Andre Durrell. His eye looked crazy right there. I don't know if I'm tripping. You see David Benavidez and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, former champion at that weight, working together. And I actually know people, I'm not going to put them on blast, but I know people that witnessed, I don't know how many times they sparred together, but I know people that were there for some of their sparring, and they told me it was pay-per-view worthy. And I'm not going to give too much detail of what I heard, but David Benavidez held his own. He was looking sharp in there from what I was advised. I wasn't there. So that's a crazy fight. David Benavidez been fighting. Look, Chris Eubank been working with top guys, Bivol, and then Canelo out here trying to fight Yildrim. And that, whoever that is, Fanfara, or I don't know who that is, Fanfara Kovalev. But he been like, man, the man been scrapping. We all know David Benavidez is good. He been calling out Canelo. Another thing, you know, Caleb Plant. He, unlike Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant stays in shape. He stays working. You know, he's a family man. Him and his wifey. He makes moves. He likes cars. Look, he didn't even have a fight actually announced at this time, and he was already in shape. And Canelo out here, his short list, they put Caleb Plant's name on it, but he could have fought Caleb Plant instead of Caleb Smith. So, you know, Canelo could say whatever he want. Eddie Reynoso, they could say whatever they want. We know who the best is. We know who skillfully will give Canelo difficulty at the very least. And this short list is crap, you know, to me. Billy Joe Saunders, he just fought Martin Murray, right? Why'd he fight Martin Murray instead of fighting Demetrius Andrade, who he failed a drug test with? You know, Avni Yildrim failed a drug test. Canelo failed a drug test. Billy Joe Saunders failed a drug test. Caleb Plant hasn't. So why didn't he get it? You know, hopefully he gets it. They're putting him on the list, but this could be clout chasing because he was on the list last time, and then Canelo ended up fighting Caleb Smith, and it was one-sided. And the funny thing is, you can say whatever you want, but if these fights get made, I promise you, they will look like true fights. You know, Canelo's team, they can say whatever, but they will look like actual fights. I'll do a raffle and give free money away if Canelo fights David Benavidez right now, before he, like, no other performances where he looks vulnerable or something, and then Canelo 12-0s him and skunks him or stops him, you know, and makes it look one-sided like the Caleb Smith fight. So, you know, the little games and stuff we see. Canelo, I have him on the pound for pound list based on longevity, and he has fought some good names on his resume and stuff like that, and he does show a lot of skill, but it's getting hard to make the argument and you know, he could easily be removed from the pound for pound list if you're not doing pound for pound list things. I'm probably going to put Errol Spence there because Canelo, I mean, Errol Spence flew through a car and fought Danny Garcia per division, one of the best guys he could have fought, top 5, top 6 guys at the very least. Canelo's trying to fight Yildrim in Mexico. So a Turkish fighter, you want to have home court advantage, fight literally in your backyard of Mexico, and then you trying to come back and fight, you know, Billy Joe Saunders, what recent performances Billy Joe Saunders put up that makes him in the running? He's not a likable person. He said a bunch of stuff that in practical jokes and stuff. He got his license removed. He failed a drug test. Look, Caleb Plant ain't out here doing that. And I do understand David Benavidez, for full disclosure, he failed a drug test too with cocaine. Look, Billy Joe Saunders charged with misconduct for sickening video. This is a UK-based website. Video shows boxer offering woman drugs for a blank, you see it, I'm not going to say it, blank act. And he got his license removed and apologized and all this stuff multiple times. So how's he get to fight? Why is he even in the running? You know what I'm saying? It's going to get to the point where Canelo keeps doing these, whatever he feels, power moves. And the pressure is going to be so much. DAZN, they're foolish for even paying for this stuff. You know what I mean? They're probably having to give Canelo $25 million or whatever they owe him for for these fights, and they foolish for even paying it because he's living high off the hog. And I know they're not getting the proper return on their investment, you know, with fights like this. So hopefully Canelo makes the right choice. I have to wait to see, but it looks like he's going to fight Yildrim regardless, which is his own issue. You know, 1 minute he's a franchise champion, and they said that carries up to 168 when he wanted to fight Avni Yildrim, and they voted for him. And now all of a sudden he has mandatories, which the franchise champion is not supposed to have. They said the franchise champion belt is non-transferable, and then they actually transferred it when Teofimo beat Lomachenko. It changed hands. It's a lot of politics, but I promise you, I can assure you, we're going to stay on top of it. And, you know, good luck to Canelo. He's a brilliant fighter, but playing these little games, and there's just other fighters who are on the up and coming and getting these winnings and beating guys, and they're just more interesting storylines than watching Canelo fight a predictable movie. You know, that's what it's becoming. It's becoming a movie you've already seen over and over. Like, I seen this plot. I seen this one. You know, there's certain actors and actresses, and you're like, man, all these movies seem similar. Like, they keep putting them in the same type of movie, and they just keep remaking it. You know, Fatal Attraction, and they just keep crazy psycho person stalking. You know, that's what these Canelo fights are starting to get like. So hopefully Canelo fights somebody fresh, a breath of fresh air. He's a free agent again, and he can't hide behind Golden Boy because there is no Golden Boy. So whoever you're choosing to fight is who you're choosing to fight, Mr. Free Agent. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I don't have nothing else to say. I do drop content all the time. Hit the bell icon for the alerts. Sign up for ESPN Plus using my link. It is $5.99 a month. They have a ton of original content, docuseries, documentaries, archive footage, and much more. ESPN Plus is a standalone app. Again, is $5.99 by clicking that link. Or you can get the bundle, which is $12.99, and it includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps for one low price of $12.99. Mandalorian is back. Very popular show on Disney Plus, and you know, click that link. It does help the channel. I'm an independent creator, so it helps me facilitate things, housekeeping, buy gear for the channel, you know, just upgrades, stuff like that. Happy holidays. Let me know what you guys think of Canelo's shortlist. To me, I think it's pretty poor. I really don't see, outside of Caleb Plant, you know, who's checking for the Yildrim fight. Billy Joe Saunders, I don't think he's deserving of a fight. And Golovkin, look, he's about to be 40 by the time, he'll be 39 by the time they fight, if they fight Cinco de Mayo. You know, who wants to see that? He doesn't look the same, and there's much fresher people like Bivol looks fresher, Better Biev looks fresher, David Benavidez definitely looks fresher, he's younger, Caleb Plant, Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andre needs a big fight. You know, there's too many guys out there for Canelo to try to play the same magic trick and charade. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.